Okay, so let's talk about pricing strategies. We're going to go over 3 pricing strategies. The first one is traditional pricing. You know, that's what almost everybody does, is they will ask a certain price. And I'll kind of give you a preview. The next one is value range pricing, which I'll explain. So with traditional pricing, what I recommend is that you price about 2% above what you think you'll get. So that gives you some negotiating room, but not so much negotiating room that you have no one to negotiate with. And there is a slightly different number to use if you have, strangely enough, a very low or very high priced home. I recommend a 5 to 10% difference. So if you have a low, perhaps a condominium for $100,000, you might want to price it at 110 versus 102. Or if you have a home for $20 million, I wouldn't say to price it at 20 million. What would that be? 20 million, 40,000. I would say more like 2.1 million, something like that, or 2.2 million. So then the next pricing strategy is value range pricing. Now, value range pricing is, not many people know it by its name, but it's where it says seller will entertain offers between X and Y, between $800,000 and $875,000, for example. So there's some benefits to that. It's particularly good when you have a custom house or just a home that's hard to price. So it's perhaps hard for the agent and the owner to price, hard for the public to price, so you kind of put a range out there. And there's a principle of negotiating that says the first person to state their position is at a disadvantage. And value range pricing lets you go, it's right in here. Now, what will you pay me? Now, there is a myth that people say, oh, well, everybody just offers the bottom of the range and you're lucky to get that. It's not true. Statistics bear out that you tend to sell slightly above the midpoint of the range. I have sold homes below the bottom, at the bottom, in the middle, at the top, and above the top of the range. So it varies. And then the last pricing strategy, which actually I don't really recommend, and I see it done just once in a while, is kind of an auction style, where you price low, you price below market, and then you're hoping that your price gets bid up to market value or above. I have never recommended doing this, but I kind of throw it out there as a third option. You got to be kind of gutsy to do it, because if you put it out there and you only get an offer at the bottom, you could have some obligation to sell it or pay the agent that represents the buyer. So it is kind of risky. So those are the 3 strategies to think about. All right, thank you. Call us at 858-457-KENT. That's 858-457-5368. Or check us out on the web at garykent.com.